Hello, welcome to Loremaster's Lair. The Happy Salesman is back, my monthly market visiting to bring your players in a set of artifacts you can use to improve your Pathfinder game. Today, we are bringing a two-part Rafter Righteous special to a start. The Loremaster will be here next week to give you information you need to know about the World Wound and the Crusades. This week, my collection is a series of holy artifacts related to Crusaders, some lying within the World Wound itself. Could some of these be found lying for Crusaders, whether on tabletop and all-cast new game, to find? If so, you might want to know what you're getting yourself into. Shall we begin? Quick rundown of where, besides my card here, you can find these items. In addition to the three main sources mentioned in the first monthly market, we also have 4 items which appear straight out of the Rafter Righteous Adventure Path. So whether Arcad puts these items in the game or not, these are items one can expect to find somewhere within the World Wound. First off, hopscotching off my quick visit to the video on Nephis, let's look at a special staff of the Magi. Lissario's staff. Lissario was an archmage from Juma, who tried to negotiate between the clashing native Khelids of the region known as Isga and of the Teldan armies of expansion. Talda, however, did not want to talk and tried to have him sidelined. Lissario did not like this and became Talda's worst enemy, fighting on the side of the Khelids. Not with the Khelids, him being another example to them of the kind of crazy things magic users can do. But he fought, and he died, by breaking his staff in an attempt to stop his allies from being routed. After this variant staff did something unique. It reformed. Again and again and again. Around the anniversary of Lissario's death, the staff will form within 100 miles of one of Lissario's descendants, invariably finding its way into the hands of another freedom fighter, where he put his life on the line for everything. Now, it's not long for the rain date. Who will find the staff next? And which cause are they willing to sacrifice themselves for, I wonder? Not the kind of crusade you're looking for? Of course. If you are heading towards the World Wound, then what you're looking for must not be of some southern mage, but of the great saints and gods of various historical crusades, of Araden, of Iomedae, of Arazni. Arazni's story is one for another time, but the short version is that she was the former herald of Araden, who was killed by the Whispering Tyrant, her body taken by the undead nation of Geb, and Geb himself turning her into an undead goddess to rule in his place while he eternally mopes. While she is classified as a unique undead, she stands as a lich with various traits of a mummy. One of these is that she has had her internal organs removed and placed in Coptic jars, though uniquely made as the Bloodstones of Arazni. These special jars are one of the chains keeping Arazni in this miserable world, and grants one not only her powers, but also the powers one would expect to be granted by the god Araden, if he was still kicking, of course. Because of this, these are sacred relics to the last worshippers of the dead god, often found hidden within the reliquaries of his abandoned temples. Speaking of artifacts in the Crusades, against the Whispering Tyrant, we have the Shield of Aroden, or at least its shards. A gift from Aroden to his champions, this +5 light fortification, spell resistance 17, heavy wooden shield, mouthful, but of course it's Aroden, why not, has the power to grant all allies within 100 feet the effects of Bless and Prayer. However, its greatest gift is that it can stave off a holder's death by shattering into shards, which can later be reforged into a whole new shield. The last time it was used, it was held by the great General Ornistant, who stood beside Iomedae to fight against the Whispering Tyrant, where instant death spells ended up shattering it into 12 shards flying around, one which embedded itself into the Lich's hand, burning him with holy flame, allowing him to be locked up. Because of this, the remaining 11 shards have sat within the museums of Lastwall, languishing away. Would be a wonderful addition to the armaments for one to retake Sarkaros. But during the time to find the shard, one would have to pay a visit to Galosphere, a raid which itself would match the World Wound in difficulty. Though I am sure a smart mind might think of some way to use the shards. It was also during this time that Iomedae began her path to becoming the next Herald of Araden, a path recorded in a book called the Lymirin Discourses, written by Saint Lymiria, a follower of Iomedae who spent her life examining Iomedae's legendary 11 acts, 100% original. The specifics of the acts are outside the scope of an item video, but many different scholars have examined these 11 deeds which mark Iomedae's path to godhood. St. Lymirin, however, focused on the martial aspects of the acts, allowing one to meditate on the book to temporarily gain some of the inherited strength. This is one of the items on today's card which is currently in the World Wound. An elderly priest thinking the best person to hold a copy being a young squire. Tick-tock. Hopefully your crusaders can march there before it's too late. And with the completion of Iomedae's last deed, another holy artifact was formed. As Iomedae walked from the Starstone Cathedral, human armor melted away. No, get those thoughts out of your head. That's how the succubi get you. The last was a helmet, leaving behind a spiky metal crown of iron, the Thorn crown of Iomedae, a crown that gives paladins even more things in their arsenal, plus 3 additional mercies a day, maximizing their lay on hands, and they gain smite evil equal to their charisma, as well as giving all wearers, whether or not they are sworn to lay, an armor bonus based on one's charisma, and allowing one to die while wearing it to stand until the battle ends. An holy artifact of the faith, a chapel was made for it almost instantly, only for it to be lost along the way. It eventually showed up back in the hands of the Pathfinders who no way were going to give that back until they could find all the secrets of the Starstone artifact. At least they wouldn't until they lost it during the Red Revolution of Gault, and it is lost again. Who knows where the crown will show up next? Think you'll be lucky? It seems we've been doing these chronologically, so let's move on to the death of Araden. When Araden died, many disasters and changes to the political landscape happened, but one artifact was born. The Dossal of Salt and Tears. The moment it is said Araden died, a single raindrop fell onto a tapestry of Araden. The tapestry glowed a pale light, some of the last of Araden's powers flowing in, and began to drip, 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 constant streams of water. Many worshippers of Araden, even Iomedae herself, came to pay respects to the last tears of their god. Because of this, tapestry acts as an altar to Araden, guiding the strength of the god despite the issue of him not being here. In addition, the tears serve as holy water. Tapestry was sent to the world in an attempt to assist, only to have the caravan be ambushed on the way. Now it sits in the River Kingdom, a place known as the Grotto of Tears, waiting for someone to continue Araden's march. However, after the death of Araden, his followers had a problem. Some wanted to join the big lady and follow their inheritor, while some held out that the terrible death schemes of Araden was just some test. Both churches would have had a civil war if it wasn't for the Venerable Galevius and his Venerable Jawbone. Yes, it's Jawbone. He was the man who stood up and negotiated between both sides, convincing them to not kill each other, and instead kill demons in the newly opened world wound. Yes, he is the one responsible for the declaration of the Crusades to begin with. He died before the First Crusade began, but he was given a grand funeral by both the churches that declared him a saint, during which they witnessed him rise to the heavens, his jawbone the last thing to disappear. You did not hear this from me, but if you play your cards right, the jawbone of the Venerable Galevius might appear when you most need it, its 16 teeth ready to help you win the Crusades. By talking. 2 canines for diplomacy, 4 premolars for buff, 6 molars for sense motive, and 4 incisors for intimidate. If you promise to fight like a good girl or boy, Crusader Santa might have put something interesting in his stockings. A disturbing thought. Which finally brings us to the Crusades and the saints that made their name on the battlefield you'll be charging into. First, let me take the legend of Genevar's Sharptongue and the Barding of Pleated Light. During the First Crusade, a band of scouts was exploring fallen areas of Sarkros, when a mysterious aurora appeared on the hilltops before them. As these soldiers usually go, only one person was willing to test their luck analyzing the strange, colorful light. So Jennifer Sharptongue risked her life, and was rewarded with her famed hearse being granted Barding Ruin from Light, created by the angels under Poluru, the ephemeral lord of the Northern Lights, granting the wearer spell resistance, the ability to release blinding light, the ability to make the rider immune to blinding light, and giving the rider spell resistance to light or dark spells, and most importantly, the ability to cross the world through curtains of heroic light. They also came with a matching lance and armor for Jennifer herself, which is something I as a merchant can appreciate. Jennifer instantly went to work, appearing to turn battle after battle across Sarkros under radiant light. Until she ended up like half the other heroes of the Crusades and found herself taking out more than she could chew. Don't let me undersell this. She lasted a good 10 years, more than many can dream of. But it just takes one lucky strike to sever a head from her body. The angels immediately took the lance and the armor, but the nameless hearse was still alive, and so the Barding stayed, becoming another artifact waiting for another hero to take it up. So are you willing to follow in Jennifer's hoofsteps and charge wherever you are needed? Or would the artifact known as the Pauper's Thighbone be a better fit? Another hero of the Crusades was a wizard known as Argyll. He lived a life on the streets of Dresden, an orphan who left his orphanage so he did not take up a bed another could be using. He saw himself to poverty, and as the First Crusades went, he continued to grow thinner and thinner. Then the second wave of demons rose. Then the town of Dresden fell. Argyll sacrificed all that he had and more, telling the people to leave their possessions behind and run as he served as a rear guard. He was lost, but a mysterious artifact was created. A wand, the sound of the Thighbone within. 9 runes engraved upon it. The 9 runes can be used to increase your spells using metamagic, without having to use your own abilities to do so, and recharge each day. In addition, the number of runes may be increased if the wielder were to do an incredible act of generosity. But the runes may also be decreased with a particular nasty act of selfishness. The item is just waiting in Dresden, potentially using its ability to choose its wielder to torment a poor demon. Which brings us to the final product on our cart today. This is not an item you will find in any old treasure chest, but instead one that will find you. St. Cuthbert's Mace, an item which comes from some far-off land completely unknown to this world. Hello, D&D. This is a +5 axiomatic, wholly disruptive holy mace, another mouthful, with the power to cast Searing Light. However, what makes Mace special is every year, on the 20th of Famast, the Mace teleports somewhere in this endless multiverse to wherever it is needed most. How is this determined? Who knows? But the Mace comes with a long list of monster teeth that is knocked in. There was also timers used to lock a door while the lock was being repaired, but it was a very important door. As you charge forward into the waiting depths of the world wound, facing certain death, will the mace find you worthy to appear in your hands? Probably not. I'm surprised Paizo even mentioned St. Cuthbert. However, a crusader can dream, can't they? And that's it for today. Now that you're all stocked up, are you ready to charge into a world wound blindly? Slow down, Crusader. You do not know where you're going yet. Next time, your Loremaster will give you the rundown on Sarkros, World Wound, and the 4 crusades you're going to be trying to do better than. Either way, I'm tapped out. This is the Happy Salesman shipping out. I'll see you again after I've walked down a few darker paths.